Hey everybody, this is Lisa and Nancy with Big Blend Radio, and we're sitting out in this beautiful garden at the Miller-Dunham-House-Bed-n-Breakfast in downtown historic Odessa, Delaware. We're not in Texas anymore. We're in Delaware, and it is beautiful. There's water, there's a lot of history, there's a lot of birds, and there's really good food. Seriously good food. There's s'mores in the evening over a wonderful fire, and really good hospitality. So Bob and Debbie, thank you for putting up with Nancy and I over the last... you've got one more night with us.
It's okay. It's been a pleasure.
So it has been really amazing. The B&B, I want to start with this because, you know, some B&Bs are super historic, but this has history, but it's not like built in the... okay, so the Historic Foundation, we went, Odessa Historic Foundation, their buildings go back to the late 1700s. So this is a little newer, but it's a colonial-style building. Amazing gardens, but it has some fascinating history of the Miller-Dunham family. Do you want to tell us about them?
Well, the Dunham family is quite interesting, and we benefit to this day from all their passion and their efforts. Dr. Dunham and his family built this house in the mid-'70s, and it probably was the talk of the town because it was an empty lot, and this area, Odessa, is so historic that they probably hadn't seen a new house built in a long time when this was built.
Wow.
Dr. Dunham was a horticulturist along with his wife, and he built this 4-bedroom house with an in-law suite. I think his mother lived with them and lived into her 90s. Both horticulturists, passionate about horticulture. He was the head of the horticulture department at the University of Delaware. There are gardens named in his honor. Cool. And he and his wife had vegetable gardens, herb gardens, flower gardens, and a multitude of floral flowers and trees. He had an apple tree that had 5 kinds of apples. He would graft different apple tree branches, and it was just magnificent. We've seen some photos of it, but the house lay dormant before the Miller, as in the Miller-Dunham house. The Millers, who knew the family, Mr. Miller grew up in Odessa, and although now lives out west, wanted a presence here because he loves Odessa. So the house lay dormant, and some things went kind of a little overgrown and what have you. The Millers brought back as much as they could, and we now take care of 3 to 4 acres of beautiful property that we really and thoroughly enjoy.
Debbie, because we walked around the garden with the two of you yesterday, and you're like, well, this is poking up, and there's something, it seems like, is there something new every day?
All the time. What I was telling Lisa yesterday, and Nancy, I think we were all out there, is that we came a year ago, August, so we didn't even know what to expect. We hadn't seen things April, May, and June as they were, and so every day was a new day. Something new was coming up, and in fact, I put 2 apps on my phone, one called Plant Snap and one called Picture This, to try to help me identify things, because so much was new for me.
Well, we got a new one yesterday.
And then we got a new one, Lisa's app.
Seek. It's iNaturalist.org, everyone. They're awesome.
That we saw something come up that looked like a crocus, and I said, well, I know there's global warming, but are we confused that they think it's spring? But Lisa looked it up, and it's a autumn crocus, which I'd never heard of. So we have autumn crocuses here.
Yeah, it's amazing what you have. Look at the roses already, like all the hostas and... Oh my gosh, you got so many...
Oh, the lilacs come up.
You have lilacs.
Magnificent purple.
Oh my gosh,
Beautiful.
And the iris?
Iris.
No, the iris.
Iris, excuse me. Just gorgeous.
Oh man, but it's a beautiful home as well. And how many rooms? There's 4?
4.
Yeah, 4 rooms. And it's quiet at night. You know, you don't hear the other guests. I can leave the window open. I love leaving the window open. Too. I want to hear nature.
The birds in
and
the
it's
morning.
Just so peaceful. How many people live in Odessa, do you think?
About 500, I believe, is the population. So when you're here, you could be rural USA. Very historic, very quiet, very neighborly and friendly. And so it's rather a rural... Well, it is a rural feel, which we really enjoy, and we kind of have best of both worlds here, because within minutes we're in Middletown, our neighbor, And there's every convenience and every store you'd imagine there, restaurants, etc. But that's 10 minutes, 15 minutes away.
Wow.
And also this area is an area that has, which is something we've learned in the last year that we've been here, there's a plethora, how's that for a good word?
That's
a plethora of things to do, from nature, and I'm sure
Over 100, right?
Well, yes, 100
reasons to come here. Yes, that's what you've been working on, that project.
Yes, I post one at a time. I've been posting 100 reasons, like
Bombay Hook.
Bombay Hook.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful 16,000 acre national wildlife preserve. You went there.
Yeah.
Yes.
We saw swans, we saw
amazing.
egrets, herons, Canadian geese, wetlands. And so Delaware is very new to Nancy and I, completely new. It's like, what?
Yeah.
We're in the first state of the country. And I just didn't expect that. Did you, Nancy?
No.
Yeah.
The wetlands and the fall colors with the wetlands, yet they were still green, but the swans. And there's like, you see these big white humps out in the wetlands, and we're like, what are we looking at? And I was like, please don't tell me it's trash or something, right?
No.
And it turned out to be sleeping swans, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And
Fabulous.
the problem, you can do a driving tour. The only problem I have is we just
Didn't have enough
we
time.
need out. Like there's so
you
many
can spend
trails.
days there.
And there is really, and
It's huge.
but you have all kinds of preserves around you. Even here, we went for a little walk to the creek.
The
and
Tidal Creek, yeah.
say the name.
Appoquinimink. Appoquinimink is the tidal creeks, and they're based on tides. So although they're wonderful to go through the tall grasses in a kayak or a canoe, you've got to be careful of the tides, because when you're fighting the tide coming back, you can be turned around a little bit. Not dangerous. I mean, it's shallow, but
You just
it's
have to work a
fun
little harder.
Oh
Right.
yes,
Hence
yes,
why I like to kayak in a lake.
yes.
Yeah, she likes to.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently,
And we have them too.
I have problems with that. I've gone round in circles.
Yeah.
So have I.
Okay,
Absolutely.
we should go kayak
Yes, you
together.
should.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
fun
I'm
to
taking
watch.
wine with me this time.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, then you won't care.
Maybe right, or either you'll do better or you don't care.
Or you don't care.
Yeah, we learned to kayak in Louisiana in a bayou, and so that's.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things
gators
out
in
there,
there.
and snakes and
Yeah.
all that. So
No, I wouldn't. Well, it's funny. The first time that I went kayaking, and I went with two women that have gone, and they're used to there, and I wasn't. And I did get a little turned around, and all of a sudden they both looked at me and they said, "Your oar is backwards." Bob had put my oar
She's going to
backwards.
blame
Your
me
fault.
now on
Well,
this.
no,
I put her oar in wrong.
Yeah,
No, you
it
could
was
do
like
that?
because the paddle part was on backwards.
I blame Nancy's
The
fault for me
double-ended
going
oar
circles.
comes in two parts, so for storage.
Right.
When I put it back together, the curve of the oar was backwards for her. and
So I
didn't
was
know it.
literally, I couldn't
couldn't
go anywhere. I
control.
was like, I couldn't go anywhere. I was going backwards from,
That's it. That's what. And we went on a second time thinking. The first time we had a guide, and he kept saying, don't go near the trees, because that's where the snakes hang out. First thing Nancy does is crashing into a tree.
I know.
And
Detour.
He's like, detour. And I'm like, this is great. There's frogs jumping on me out of the, but it's swampy land,
Yeah.
And you try not to think really what's on, but I'm totally into it. I don't,
Yeah.
But so then the
great,
second time was in a lake, and I was filming around the lake earlier that morning, and I did see a water moccasin. So now we get in the kayak on the lake, and I forgot my hat, so I put my towel on my head. So I kind of look like COVID now, like just you just see like Cousin It going out with this big beach towel over her head, and I'm going in circles, and I'm trying to tell her, because it's like one that you'd have two people in, and I'm like, no, we'll each take our own two
Right.
people kayak.
Oh, you
because I
took
didn't a big one,
Yeah,
Because-
that's a lot to control.
really, and I'm trying to film.
Especially if you're out of control.
And she's fine, and I'm fine, and I'm like, no, wait for me, there's a snake, and she's like, no, you're doing it back, you need to do this. I'm like, no, I can't. So here we are on this lake, and all the people in the campsite
so
stood
funny.
around watching as you hear. It was interesting words coming out of my mouth, I think.
Yes,
And
so you were the entertainment for the day.
For a
and-
long time.
For a long
because
time.
She just kept going around in circles because she only paddled
it was
on one
it was
side.
embarrassing. By the time we got to the
I'm
shore,
trying
people
to,
clapped.
Like, hello, take
She
the paddle
made it.
this side and then go the other side.
But there's a
No,
snake in the water. I know there's a snake.
pretty
so
funny.
Well, going in circles is going to get you away from the snake.
See, I know, well, you get that freaked out, like, oh my
It was
gosh.
funny.
You sort
But-
of get caught up in that.
Then
Yeah,
she
it didn't look
finally got across. Everybody clapped.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
gosh.
see. Well, you know.
That would have been
Yes.
fun to film.
Yeah, but I was like, doing my own.
You should
kayak.
see
I
the footage
should've.
from it. It's just a bunch of water. Like,
Yeah,
just like,
just like this.
but yeah, no. But this is beautiful because you have the wetlands, and it seems kind of temperate here. It doesn't, you know, it's like a temperate climate for the garden to even thrive like it. It's
I would say I'd agree with that.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
But we certainly had a mild winter this winter.
Very
this
mild
past
winter. But what I must confess, when we decided to come here, we were living and raised our son and family for 30 plus years up in the suburbs of Philadelphia. But this has been a dream. And when we came here, I kind of felt like Odessa, Delaware. Like what's in Delaware?
Yeah.
It's our neighbor, and I don't know anything about it. But my impression was Delaware is not like. What do you do in Delaware? Well, we get that question asked to us a lot from out of town guests, and so I decided to share all the things that I've discovered and still am discovering, and have worked quite a long time to build up a what to do when you're in Odessa.
Yeah.
And I learned from doing it, there's a multitude of things to do here. Fun things, great food. Delaware is very flat, so bikers, bicyclists, cyclists love it. Well, at least people like myself like it that don't want to do hills. Maybe
Yeah.
the pros would like more of a challenge, but Delaware is a flat state, and there's so many bike trails, so many, and they're fun along water, along whatever, fields, farms. It's beautiful.
I mean, even where we were at the Bombay Hook,
Bombay
there was a
Hook.
lot of cyclists.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yes.
On the audio, and just little kids, like whole families going out, and the nature thing, I think, is huge. The bird, I mean, here, I mean, I'm sure our listeners can hear all the birds that are going on in your garden, and having breakfast this morning in the solarium, and the bird feeders right there. We're just watching cardinals and blue jays.
You have
and-
at least 15 species
Oh,
that
yeah.
come into your garden.
Yeah.
Nancy was looking them up.
Yeah.
I was identifying each one.
Oh yeah.
It's
you
really
go,
cool.
birder girl.
Yeah, we haven't seen any hummingbirds lately, but we get
That
them
season.
too.
They move on the
They
season.
move,
This
yeah.
is their time when they bail, but
Yeah.
it's so beautiful to just sit and watch birds, and it's just relaxing. But you've got all the bird life and the wildlife
Yep.
refuges too. So
Yep.
birders, you need to come here.
And
Oh,
even
awesome.
non-birders. I was just going
Yeah.
to say, I'm not.
Yeah, you don't have to be a
Well, living in the suburbs, which was wonderful. We loved it. Great friends we made. Or living in the city, you forget nature
this-
is a whole show in itself, and and I think I don't want to be cliche-ish and say we've got closer to nature, but we have.
Yeah.
Well, it's right here.
And you've got a
it's
little
right
forest.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard not to. It is.
But
and
we
it-
don't want to.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
It's
It
beautiful.
really is.
And you've got two dogs here, Tanner
And Pablo.
Pablo is the most interesting man dog in
That's
the
your
world.
new nickname.
He has to have a big one like that,
Yes.
you know.
And
But
Tanner's a gentleman.
Tanner
Deluxe.
is very cute.
Yes.
He's very
very
special.
cute.
And then you let people bring their pets here.
Yes, we try to limit one room, one guest or pair of guests with a pet at a time.
Yeah, otherwise
We don't want a menagerie, and there could be,
You're not a doghouse.
We're not a kennel.
Kennel.
We're a B&B.
Yeah.
And we always keep at least one room that prohibits
Yeah.
any animal for those people that might be allergic.
Right.
And Deb can speak on the procedures that
Oh man!
painstaking
Listen,
procedures.
you got traveling during COVID. You know, the one thing we've learned is bed and breakfasts really do take care of every detail. And you're a neat freak.
No, she's anal about
No,
it.
It's just getting better and better.
No, she is passionate because we take the responsibility seriously, and we're vested.
Yeah.
We live here.
Yeah.
We don't want to get sick.
No.
But we also take it seriously because we know what our responsibility is to the guests.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that would love to come, I'm sure, and are still hesitant.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Everybody's
blaming
different.
them. Everybody
Right.
has to do what they
Absolutely.
feel is best for them. But I want to assure people that we do everything, and then probably some, to ensure health, safety from any kind of illness or virus or bacteria,
Yeah,
but especially in this day and age with COVID.
Yeah, the rooms are spotless, Debbie, and at the same time, you leave them 24 hours, right?
Yeah, we
when
leave
you
rooms
check-
24 hours in
Yeah.
between guests, both sides. So, when you check in, that room hasn't been occupied for at least 24 hours prior
Okay.
to you and won't be occupied again for at least 24 hours.
Okay. So,
Just, I think, and people still care about that.
Yeah.
Regardless of things and different theories of what's going on or how it's spreading, people really are still responding to that. And we've had several guests that I know have come specifically because they have read on our website, what we're doing and have felt, comfortable.
what is your website, so everybody knows?
So our website is
Dunham.
Well, it's Miller
Dash Hunt. Wait, we're not even drinking champagne yet. Wait, Miller
We're not even
Dash
drinking yet.
Dunham.
Miller-Dunham.com.
There it is, everybody.
Right.
Get there, and you're on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all
Yes.
and Pinterest, all those good places. Also on your website, you have your food blog, and we need to talk about the food.
Okay.
Dude, we're still full.
That's good. I like people to be full.
It was yummy, deliciousness.
Really good.
Yeah, this
when
is.
someone tells me that they are very light eaters, I say, well, that's your problem because I'm going to feed you.
Yeah, we got fed.
Yeah,
and
really.
fed good stuff.
Really.
I mean, you get fed and you're full, but you don't want to be full of,
And you still
She
keep
tells me
eating.
I am, but.
I tell the truth.
Oh, great. But no, it is so good. You made this amazing frittata vegetable, and everyone, we've got the recipes, so watch for them coming up in Big Glen Radio and TV magazine. But you did a frittata, vegetarian frittata, these amazing popovers. They pop out of the pan, boing.
Yep.
And also, we got to talk about those crepes this morning.
Oh, you like them? Huh?
We got to have chocolate first.
Yes.
I always
Dessert
say, let's
first.
eat dessert first.
Yes.
It's not a
think
bad
that's
way to start.
Good
I don't.
idea.
I think that's the way the world should work.
I think you should have dessert first and then eat everything, and vegetables should always be last.
Okay. We could change the world that way.
Usually, you got her eating vegetables.
There you
though.
go.
See,
Without even knowing it.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
I must
like
admit,
it.
on the veggie frittata, when I first heard about it, it would be the last thing I would ever order if I went out for breakfast. Normally.
Yeah.
I tried it. I give the credit to my wife, who eats a lot healthier. If this was a video, you could see the difference. She weighs 100 pounds soaking wet if we're lucky, and I'm a little heavier than that. Anyway, it was her suggestion to make more healthy, but it's got to be good.
Yeah.
So that's a hard thing sometimes in my world.
Well, I think feta cheese is always good.
Feta was great in it, but you could use any cheese, and people really like it.
Yeah.
And I serve the sausage. We have an Amish farmers market.
That was really good, by the way.
Yeah, it's a sage sausage.
Thank you to George and Carla for
Yes.
that find.
The previous innkeepers found that, and we've kept that tradition. Or I'll serve slab, thick-cut bacon, but that meat is on the side, so you can have your meat and veggies and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's served with an aioli pesto,
Oh man,
which really tops it off and
I
complements
didn't know
it.
that would be a good thing, but it was really good.
Really good.
It's really good with it, and
Yeah.
actually, we liked it on the popover.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really good on
It's
the
good
popover.
on it's good on chicken.
Oh.
It's good on
Everything.
everything.
Everybody needs
Probably
to eat.
not an ice cream sundae.
Not an ice cream sundae,
No,
but
no, but
no, but aioli pesto, and
go for that.
when you check the recipe, which you have
Yeah.
and is on our blog also, you'll see it's so simple to make.
yeah,
So simple.
it's you have mayonnaise,
Mayonnaise,
and then you take
your favorite pesto,
Your
unless you want to make all of that from scratch. You could make your own mayonnaise. You could make your own pesto. Sometimes I just feel that don't reinvent the wheel if it's good and it's affordable and you can.
yeah. That's
I like
good.
to make things for breakfast that most people aren't making for themselves,
Right.
because we all live busy lives and we're rushing out the door, and even on the weekends a lot of times you go out for breakfast.
Yeah.
Treat yourself. So when I make breakfast, I like to try to wow them a little bit, not get too exotic. I know what people like, but make it maybe presented in a way that's
Yeah,
it's interesting.
and it's from scratch still.
Everything is from scratch.
You're making everything.
English muffins, popovers.
And the coffee was good too, man. I
Yeah.
I woke up.
Well, the coffee plantation
human.
is right out
I
back.
wish.
I'm kidding about that.
He's going to put us to work.
Coffee's important.
Well, it is, especially because we have wine the night before. We always need coffee, And we had s'mores last night.
Wine
that
and
was fun.
s'mores
That's
wasn't a
right.
bad thing last
That
night.
was very
pretty good.
That was good. That was good. Background is interesting too, because I know you've been in the restaurant industry, the hospitality, the QVC world, right?
Yeah.
But also you were in hospitality, Deb, and then also in real estate. So both of you know properties and buildings, and that's what I say about like the cleanliness and the just everything is so nice and clean and spacious and bright and cheerful,
And homey.
And homey. Yeah, you see, you can be cozy.
We really want
That's a big
people to
deal.
feel at home. It's a overused cliche, but I don't have other words better.
Yeah.
We really practice or try to put our money where our mouths are when we tell our guests, and we tell every one of them that we want this truly to be your home away from home while you're with us. And if you want to come down in your PJs for breakfast or barefoot or in your bathrobe,
Yeah, Nancy?
we don't care.
Did you see her this morning at 4 a.m. come downstairs and raid your kitchen?
No, I did not. Did she? That's okay.
In her
I love
pajamas.
it. Did
No.
you?
No.
Just
I
messing.
would
Well, she,
love that.
but
She
you
was,
could.
She was snoring.
We don't
she
lock.
was so deep in
Maybe
sleep
I'll
last
try
night.
that tomorrow.
We don't lock our kitchen
But
up.
I did say, and I said to Lisa, I don't think I talked to you about it, and I said, especially now with COVID, it's been nice because people have felt comfortable, which is what we want them to come down. They've gone to Cantwell's down the street, or maybe they've brought stuff from home already, and they've brought in.
Yeah.
They might still not be comfortable eating out, even outside, and they come and they sit in the sun. We set them up in the sunroom, and
Or outside here
Or
where you're
outside.
talking.
You have
Here
so many
and
places to sit.
We've
and
been, and that's been the best part for us. We've been fortunate that during COVID, even when we've been full, we've been able to spread people out so that they can still eat
Well, we
with
want people to
socially
feel
distanced.
comfortable and
Yeah.
secure.
Right.
We're talking
And
about
they
their
do.
health.
Yeah,
And they do.
This is really important. They have cornhole.
Oh boy, here we go again.
You have cornhole. Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You
we
made
do.
your own cornhole.
Yes, we do. And we drove you crazy with Ring on a String.
Yeah, there's that. We haven't ring on a string.
Yes, right there. I didn't show you that.
I don't know about ring on the string.
Okay, well,
That's his other.
you have to come.
Okay,
You have
so-
to come here, whoever's listening to this, and I'll show you.
Ring on the string. Okay, so after the radio show, I want to do cornhole
You
and
got
ring
it.
on the string because we've never done it.
You got it.
Okay, so that you've got to do something.
Do we have to let you win?
Absolutely.
No.
Okay, good.
No, I'll just drink copious amounts of wine. It's
we
normal.
played a couple of weeks ago with some guests, and they beat us. But of course, we said we felt that was
We're very
our
hospitable and
obligation.
we're good hosts. That was a great excuse because
Well, I
we're
dropped my
lousy at
marshmallow
cornhole. There you
last
go.
night. That
Yes,
was
you
bad,
did.
but then
We got another one.
You gave me a sip of bourbon, so I was quite okay
Didn't
after
care.
that.
Did not.
Drop as many marshmallows as I want. So lots to do here. But last night you were talking about how you get a lot of guests coming connected to the university or college that's nearby.
It's a
go ahead.
No,
Deb.
it's actually a high school.
Oh, St.
It's-
Andrews.
Yeah, St. Andrews is a private boarding school, 9th through 12th grade.
Okay, and so
And,
it's
yeah.
got some fascinating movie history.
It does. It was the location for
Dead Poet Society.
Poet Society.
Dead
Yep.
Poet Society with Robin Williams.
With
One of my
Robin
favorites.
Williams is in your
we miss
town.
Him. We miss him. Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's thinking about all that he's done. But then you could walk the grounds there
Yeah.
when it's open.
and it's amazing. Yeah, the grounds
It's an amazing
are absolutely
campus,
beautiful.
and we a lot of our guests, pre-COVID, because now even the parents can't really visit, and
Yeah.
the campus is kind of closed. It's kind of a bubble for them to protect the students, but it's an international body of students from Asia, from all over, and it's a wonderful school. And
And here in
We're lucky to
Odessa,
have
Delaware, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
And the grounds also, I know the Historic Society. That was awesome yesterday.
well, you
Nancy.
took a little tour yesterday,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
I mean, talk about like big manors.
Big
I mean, I
homes.
felt like the lady of the manor.
you
Everybody
go.
getting but it's the gardens and the view of the
you? Tidal Creek.
The Tidal Creek.
Yes,
And
Say
the Appaquinimink
yes,
Tidal Creek.
yes. I can't say it either. I can't.
It took me a lot of practice.
And you have a real historic tavern.
Yes.
Yes.
That
we do.
That was called the Brick Tavern, built
Yeah.
in the
Brick Inn.
Brick Inn,
The Brick Inn.
because it was an inn and tavern. It's now just the restaurant. Actually, I believe it's leased because the HOF or the Historic Odessa Foundation owns the property.
Yeah, they own that property.
And it's kind of like the Cheers
of the town
of Odessa, because every time we go, we see somebody we know.
Everyone's like, hey,
and they're
where's
very
Norm?
friendly. And what's wonderful for the guests, many of our guests have driven for hours wherever they're coming from, and the last thing they want to do is go back in the car and drive a half hour to a restaurant on the arrival night.
Right.
They may do that the next night. So when we tell them it's a 60-second walk, forget your car, just leave it and you can walk across the street. They're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We're hungry and we're tired.
And we need a cocktail.
And we need a cocktail.
Right.
So it's a very convenient place. Plus, it's good.
Yeah, that's important. Debbie, you said this yesterday, which I think is important for all of our friends out there who enjoy shopping, especially with the holidays coming. So would you say Middleton is most of your shopping? You've got antique stores and everything here too, right?
Yeah, Middletown has some nice little stores, nice boutique-y type stores.
Cool.
Both from, a store called the Red Geranium, which is primarily giftware.
Nice.
They have some great, what's that, the porcelain, that
Polish
porcelain.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful piece.
stuff.
And just a lot of cute stuff.
There's also
and then there's
the Whistle
a
Stop.
couple clothing stores right there next to the Red Geranium that are really nice. And you want to keep stores like that around because it really does help the personality of a town like that. You want those types of small stores. And there's a place called the Whistle Stop that used to be right downtown by the railroad tracks, which is hence the name the Whistle Stop, because it was right there. They've moved to a larger space, about a mile from there, still in Middletown. And there, it's like an array of various vendors. So you walk into the Whistle Stop and you can find anything from, antiques to some handmade, linens.
Whatever's, yeah, sure.
To whatever's, to repurposed furniture.
It's a fun place. Even if you don't buy anything, it's just an interesting
fun to
place
look
to
around.
see all
Yeah,
this
that's cool.
under one roof.
To
About
browse.
40 or 50 vendors are there every day.
Wow.
It's indoor.
Wow. And the cool thing about shopping here is apparently there's no sales tax.
There's no sales tax, which is a very cool
Unbelievable.
thing.
No
so
sales
our
tax.
wine is going to be cheaper.
Oh, yeah. Everything
I said
is.
you should definitely, you want to get some, especially of the wines that you like.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a good spot.
And there's also major shopping. Christiana Mall is 20 minutes up the road, and that's a mall.
Yeah.
So if you want your
Some people want that,
national
yeah.
brands and all that, that's fine too. So it's kind of best of both worlds for us. We live in what could be rural America, and yet minutes away, we've got all this.
Where do
at our
people
fingertips.
fly in? Like, if you get people from around the world? You say?
Well, especially because of the school we have. So people, it's twofold. Some will fly into Baltimore.
Okay.
But most, I would say, fly into Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Okay.
And that's about 45 minute, right?
Yeah, it's about 45, 50 minutes.
50-minute ride.
Wow.
We're
From
also,
here.
it's also
So it's
20
not a
minutes
big-
from an Amtrak train station.
True.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is right in Wilmington, and/or a stop in Newark, right by the University of Delaware.
Wow.
Which is in Newark, Delaware. And there is a small airport right here in Newcastle.
Mostly private planes and charters.
Mostly private, but
No,
yeah, I don't
no,
think-
there's no national, but it's
Probably.
charters and smaller planes.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who fly like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Who fly
there
like
are.
that, so
But what's
Absolutely.
nice about it, we've got, especially now, again, I don't know how everyone feels, and it's individual. Not everybody wants to fly.
yeah.
Not everybody wants to take a train and be close. We're drivable from Philly is under an hour, 50 minutes again, Philadelphia, Washington, Wilmington. I mean, east, west, north, south. You're drivable.
Yeah, there's this little magic little hub.
Yeah, so people in Philly, for instance, we're trying to spread the word that because we have friends there, and they want to just get out of the house or the
Get out of the
apartment
city.
and get out of the city, but they don't want to take a lot of public transit. They can drive here and they can escape, and we've had a lot of people do that.
Okay, that's awesome.
We had a family of 5 that lived pretty close by, and they came. They said, we're all together in the same house. We're all on each other. My mother-in-law is taking care of our 5 kids, and we've escaped for 2 days.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was just to get away and get refreshed and then go back and live their lives.
I think that's a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
I think
And
a lot of
it's
people are
nice
doing
to hear
that.
people leave saying that. You know,
Yeah.
we had a guest that lives probably 10 minutes from here and came just for overnight. And she said, I'm leaving feeling like another person. Like,
Yeah, it's so
she said, I
peaceful.
didn't realize until I got here how much I needed to do this for
well, it's
myself.
True. It's true. It's like
Which
when you got
feels
here.
great.
You know, we went running around doing this, doing that when we first got here. Then last night we just like, I just don't even want to leave. I just want to sit at this table,
Yeah.
drink my
And
wine,
watch the birds.
and
It's
the
a comfortable
squirrels,
place.
Yeah.
and just it's so peaceful and nice. You know, so. Good for you guys, you know?
Yep.
I hope you guys
lucky.
have
We're
many,
lucky.
many years of success, and I'm sure you will. You both know what you're doing. You're fun to hang out with, and, you know, I think the joy for you guys, I think you're meeting a bunch of people, too.
It is.
One of
It's
the-
best part.
one of the greatest
That is the
perks
best
of this
part.
job.
We tell everybody that that's the best part.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is a
Job.
lifestyle that is maybe not for everybody, but it certainly is for us. And one of the greatest perks is the guest.
Yeah.
Because they bring fascinating stories, and the two of you are certainly no
They're going to be
exception.
you're going to be way up there on
You're-
the list
you're
of
top
not
of-
only a lifestyle
you're
I don't
top
know,
of the
but
list.
the stories are going to be
Dirty
the best.
Godivas.
That's going to be
One day we'll have to
I
tell
wish-
everybody
I wish
that
I
on the
had
radio show, but we
taped our conversations last night so that I could replay them to myself.
We'll have to
over
clean
and
that
over
story up a
again.
little
I
bit for
know.
the public, but you need to tell that
it,
story.
it has to do with
I think I'm going to write a
an
book, and
elder
that's the title.
naked
Lady.
biker.
Naked.
All right, don't tell them anymore. Leave
ladies.
them hanging now. Now they'll want more.
Yeah, right.
But you know, but that's the thing. Traveling the amount of bed and breakfast this year that we have, it's the stories from the guests too, and
Yes.
you end up as a guest making friends with the guests. I mean, that's some
very
of our.
cool.
Well,
We've
if
got
I-
a lot of friends over the years that way.
If I
Can I-
may,
Can I?
go ahead.
One of the stories that I told you was about guests that we had almost our very first weekend.
Yeah.
And they had gone separate ways from things that we had mentioned that were going on. One had gone to Philadelphia to the Revolutionary War Museum,
American Revolution.
and one went to a peach festival a little further down, further south from us. And they came back at night, both bringing dessert, you know, and we were still moving in and unpacking.
But we were out to dinner.
But we hadn't eaten yet, and they said, well, you know what, we'll wait for you to come back because we want to wait for the other couple to come back anyway. And then the other couple came back with dessert from
A
the
peach
peach
pie.
festival, a peach
Well,
pie.
can't complain about that.
And they said, well, we'll wait for you to come back. And we looked at them like, really? It's like 9:30? Yeah, that's fine. So we went to dinner, came back, and they were sitting at the table,
We're
drinking
outside the
wine.
kitchen drinking. These are strangers to each other until they met
drinking
here.
wine together,
And we all had
talking.
dessert and we drank wine until the wee hours and had
Yeah.
one.
But they had just met also, and it was so.
Yeah.
That's the best. That is.
That was
Even
like a nice welcome,
So
yeah.
not only us meeting people, but watching other people meet
The
people
interaction.
and
Well,
their interaction.
there's the same person can go to the hotel and then the same person comes to a bed and breakfast. And I believe, there's no doubt in my mind, the level of the expectation is different and the attitude is different. There's no way I'm going to stay at a hotel that serves maybe a free, or breakfast included, and it's a self-serve breakfast, and then ask, could I sit with you to a stranger?
Yeah.
No way I'd do that. But here in B&Bs, you come with the attitude that it's more of
It's an
close-knit,
immersive.
personal, and we have an open kitchen. So when we're in the kitchen, we can hear what's going on. We hear the laughter. They always seem to find a common thread, and they've been done breakfast for a half hour, and they're still just chatting and enjoying each other's company. That's a wonderful feeling for us.
You know what? I bet you there's going to be hookups over the years.
Oh.
Little romantic,
Could be.
I'm going to dump my boyfriend for that
nice.
person over there.
well,
No, I'm
wait.
kidding.
What did that guy say on Hogan's Heroes? I see nothing. I know nothing.
Well, but here you've got,
No, it's
this
fine.
is a beautiful place. The one thing, before we go, I wanted to mention a lot of bed and breakfasts this year have ended up really opening their doors to weddings. And elopements are big, small,
Yes,
intimate weddings,
small.
which I think is great because I don't know, it's like put your money towards the real, I mean, it's not saying a wedding isn't important, but a wedding that is intimate, there's something magical with that, but putting your money towards maybe your house or the honeymoon, is, you know, but anyway, and so I'm not knocking what people do, but I'm just saying it's cool to do it at a bed and breakfast. Are you getting calls for weddings?
Well, we're doing one next weekend. It's a small wedding. They're having a little bit larger reception than the people that'll be at the ceremony. The ceremony will be right here in our garden. We'll do a Friday night rehearsal dinner, and then the wedding ceremony will be here. And then they'll go to Wilmington, I believe, for a reception of maybe 70 or 75 people.
That's still nice.
That's very nice. And they can't wait, and we can't wait. It's going to be great.
Are you cooking anything?
Yes, we are.
I knew it.
Yeah.
The rehearsal dinner and
Is chocolate
obviously
involved?
breakfast. Well, yeah, I believe they do chocolate.
They want s'mores.
Oh yeah, at the rehearsal dinner, I was going to make the chocolate mousse trifle, and I'm suggesting all this, and the bride to be says, and she's just a wonderful person. And I said to you the other day, it's easy to be nice to nice people, and
Right.
she fits that description. And she goes, well, I really was thinking of something else. I said, well, what's that? And she goes, could we go to have s'mores at the fire pit? I said, sure, why not? That's who she is. And so it's her rehearsal dinner, and I think it's a great idea.
Cool.
I like
Why
that.
not?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
There's a squirrel running around, and
Yeah, he's what?
Pablo's
Oh,
being
is
the
that-
most interesting
Yeah.
dog in the world. All right. All right, guys. So again, it's
Miller-Dunham, DUNHAM.com.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to Pablo.
Yeah, that was a bark at the end.
That was